I used to do a lot of TA, I used to follow a lot of different indicators, but it just ended up being overwhelming and sending me in the wrong directions with my trades. Now, if you've experienced this too, allow me to explain to you the solution to this, because I've been doing this for literally years and years and years. And for the past few months, I've been using this indicator called the Signaler bot. Super simple, super effective, and it works really, really well in a bull market. So none of this is financial advice, but let's dive in to the video. Guys, a big part of this strategy is using the Heikin Ashi candles. This will massively affect your ROI, so make sure that is selected. All you gotta do, press this button, scroll down, and then select Heikin Ashi right there. So here we are, I've picked an altcoin here today for you, but let's just talk about this indicator, because as you can see, this thing works wonders. So basically how this would work is every time we cross one of these lines, whether it's the blue line or the red line, we're going to get a signal come through on our phone or our email, depending on how we set this up. So for example, let's look at this long signal we got last year. This was ridiculous. And you can see here that it just goes straight up to make ridiculous amounts of money. So yeah, we would actually take this long signal here. And if we were going to look at the profit here, I mean, if we're going to take some profit at each high, we can see a 43% there. We can see 51. We can see a 68% trade. And to the highs, it would be 125%. That is ridiculous in terms of percentages. And that was only on 1x. If we were doing this on 10x or 100x, you can imagine the results here being crazy. Now, what are these lines for? Well, we can see here on the long signal, this is actually moving up over time. And this should actually be your trailing stop loss. So every single candle, in this case, we're using a daily. So at the end of every single day, when we get a new candle, we're going to check this and see what level this line is at. We're just going to adjust our stop loss to that level. And what this does, it basically says, hey, this is the most likely support at which we do pivot the other way. So we don't want to be in a long if we go over this line. We actually want to be in a short. So we can see here this goes up over time. Doesn't really tap price at all, but occasionally it will. And you can see here at this point, it did hit the stop loss, but I mean, naturally, we would have taken a lot of profit along the way up here anyway, so that's absolutely fine. It would just close out the rest of the trade if we had any left in. Now, once this does close a candle underneath that line, that's where we get a short signal, and it's the exact opposite here, where yes, we would literally just follow this red line at the end of every single day and then move our stop loss to that zone. And if we hit that, great. I mean, that's going to be the stop loss hit, but it doesn't necessarily mean we've taken a loss here, right? Because usually when we do start a trend and we pivot like we just talked about, then we can take profits at important levels on the way down here. So as you can see, we do have this high around here. This is going to be a key zone. So we're going to be sitting a take profit here. And you can see we would have made 15% on that already. And we could also set another one down here at $13. In this case, obviously, we're using Chainlink, but this works on basically any altcoin, right? You can go through with your one-day free trials we'll talk about in a minute and actually check some of these coins and see which ones work best for you. But in this case, yeah, we would have made 25% already, and this trade would still be going. So maybe we've got 50% left in, we've already made tons of money on this, and the rest of our trade is actually just going to be based on wherever this line is. That's fine. Or we could have more take profits down at other levels, maybe a 38% trade down here at this low. Absolutely fine here for this. And the reason why this indicator is so good, guys, is because you're not looking at all the market. You're not looking at the news. You're not looking at RSI, pattern trading, MACD, any of this stuff. You're simply just following the signals. You are going through the system here and you are just executing this trading strategy and making money. And it's really just a stress-free thing because you're following the system and yeah, it's an operation. You're executing an operation here, right? And it just makes money. That's the thing. It will be something that does over time, obviously, right? If you go down to 1 hour, this isn't going to be as effective. Occasionally it will be. As you can see here, the short came through at $15 for Link, and then you would have basically rode that down to $13, but on the lower time frames, this isn't going to be as good. I mean, these examples are very profitable. So I'm trying to find where this hasn't worked, but you can see this short worked fantastically. This long worked fantastically. So what I'm really saying is occasionally it will enter a sideways trappy area like so, right? And this will happen more on the shorter time frames, so just be aware of that. But overall, yes, the big trends do come through nicely, and I would advise only using this on a daily. If you have to go down to maybe a 4-hour, but overall, yeah, the daily is going to work best for this because it's really a trending indicator. It follows the macro trend, you set your levels, you set your stop loss, you update that stop loss, and you make money just by following the strategy. Now, the community behind this, as you can see, and you can go check this yourself in the description, but the community are making ridiculous amounts. As you can see with the proof here, this guy got in a short, made 1,600%, okay, and then at 2,100% on various different altcoins. Really, really cool. And yes, there's just so many results in here on this Telegram group where you can see people are making money. It is something that works. And yeah, if you weren't convinced by the chart, you should be convinced by this for sure. Okay, but let's talk about how to actually get started with this thing, because you do get a 1-day free trial. So you can actually go in there, actually find those altcoins that work. Obviously, Bitcoin is going to be a massive one here. Any high cap altcoins are going to work fantastically because they're following the macro trend. But maybe you can go in, experiment, find your favorite altcoin, see if it works on that with the 1-day free trial. Easy to do. All you got to do, press this button here after you press start. Okay, that's going to be the 1-day free trial. And then you're going to paste in your TradingView username. You can see I've done so here. And then your free trial is activated. Simple as that, super automated and good to go from there. What I will say is, if you do like it, definitely consider getting the monthly plan, $99 for 30 days. And as you can see with what we've talked about here today, guys, I mean, in 30 days, if we do bring this back up, in 30 days, likely you would have made a lot of money with this already. So you could probably go ahead and purchase the lifetime after that as well. You can see the lifetime subscription is only $350. No recurring payments, just simply and effectively, you can get that set up very easily. If you're struggling on finding your TradingView username, you just go to your profile on TradingView, just copy whatever is here, and you can see, yes, good stuff. I'm actually on premium here, guys, on TradingView because this indicator is so profitable. I just basically pay for premium for free with this amazing macro indicator, okay? But how would you set up alerts with this thing? Super simple, easy to do. Just press the 3 dots, add alerts, and then boom, you're gonna have your asset here, okay? You can have notification settings. You can set it to notify you in an app. You can set it to notify you via email, or if you have a webhook where it automates to your exchange with API, you can do so with the webhook there. But a little bit more advanced. If you are a bit more newer to crypto, this is just what you do, right? You can see it here. Press create. It's going to set those alerts up. When we do cross this red line and we get a long signal, it's going to let you know on your phone. Super simple, super easy. And that is how you use the signaler. If this is something that interests you, definitely check it out in the description, guys, because this has completely changed my entire trading strategies. Before, I had so many different indicators. I even make my own indicators here, guys, but this thing performs so well. I don't really need to touch the others so much anymore. For macro trends, for knowing where the market is going, this is the one. We get the signals automatically, we make the money, and from that point, yes, it is good to go from there. So that's going to be it from me. A fantastic day. Check this one out, and I'll see you in the next one.